A Nightmare on Elm Street was one of the staples of my childhood, one of those movies that I was way too young to be watching, but like most children from my generation, we watched them anyways. A film franchise about Freddy Krueger, a child murderer killed by the parents of Elm Street in a raging fire, sending him straight to hell, only to suffer his revenge when he returns as a demonic creature, stalking victims in their dreams. The idea of Freddy was terrifying, and like his many victims, he would occasionally infiltrate my own nightmares. In the movies, Freddy would attack his victims in their dreams in all kinds of crazy ways, bleeding over into their real lives. As the movies continued, sequel after sequel, the kills would become more and more creative and outlandish, until they were almost cartoony. So in this video, we're going to showcase my top 10 Freddy Krueger kills. The most brutal, the most absurd, the most memorable ones. Be warned, if you're sensitive to gore or horror movies, this video may not be for you. But then again, you wouldn't have clicked this to begin with, would you?
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too!
Number 10. Playing with Power. From Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. By the time The Final Nightmare was released, it was the early 90s, and the series was starting to lose steam after having several installments throughout the 80s. And by this time, his kills were already getting more and more goofy, compared to some of his most brutal kills of sequels past. In our number 10 spot, Freddy takes the popularity of Nintendo into account full force when he kills Spencer. It's an extremely tame death, but there's absolutely no way this wasn't going to be on the list. It's so stupid that you can't help but laugh watching it as he transports his victim into a video game with an evil power glove. You cannot make this up.
Get out of here now, Tracy! Now!
Hey, you forgot the power glove! Ow! Boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. What do you know? I beat my high score.
Number 9. Comic Zone. From Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child. The Dream Child definitely wasn't one of the best in the series, but it did have one of the more imaginative kills. While it's another one that's not gory at all, its hilariousness and ridiculousness guaranteed a spot on the top 10, when Freddy transports Mark into a black and white comic book world, where the young man suffers the pain of ripped paper.
Super Freddy! Told ya! Comic books was bad for ya!
Number 8. Overdose. From Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. The Dream Warriors had a group of kids with troubled lives, one of which was Taryn, who had a history of being addicted to drugs, and Freddy made sure to use her weakness against her. This is the kill that makes complete sense being exclusive to this character, and the prosthetic work was so well done, making these disgusting little mouths appear on her arms, and Freddy's fingers turn into syringes. For people with fear of needles, it is not an easy watch.
Let's get high.
Number 7. Robo Racer. Another one from The Dream Child. This kill might seem goofy if you're describing it to someone, but it's actually awesome when you see it. One of the better ones from a movie that's one of the weaker entries in the series. It's like something you'd see in some kind of Mad Max bike chase sequence when Dan gets on a motorcycle and his flesh painfully merges with it, turning him into some kind of cyborg motorcycle human hybrid. It's absolutely nuts. Instead of being comical and goofy, it ends up being one of the more painful looking ways to go.
Feels the need for speed. Gotcha. Fuel injection. Power drive. Fast lane. Dream and drive.
Number 6. Hearing Aid Kaboom! From Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. This is one of those kills that I can't watch without squirming. Like many people, it's hard to withstand the noise of nails on a chalkboard, and this takes that to the next level. It borders the line between being a goofy kill and disturbing, when Carlos becomes the victim of a hearing aid that does its job too well.
No.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
Number 5, Pool Party Rampage. From Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. A movie that is bizarre to say the least, starring a boy who's almost turning into Freddy slowly. And technically adding it to this list is cheating, since it's not relegated to one specific kill, but several at once. But there's something so amusing about seeing Freddy jump into the real world and go on a rampage during a pool party. The fence is electrified, fire is popping up randomly, people are getting stepped on, it's complete chaos.
I'm here to help you.
Help yourself, fucker!
Number 4, Dinner is Served. From Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Greta from The Dream Child suffers one of the nastiest deaths, and one of the ones that I remember scaring me the most when I was a kid, due to the disturbing imagery on display and the excellent practical effects. What appears to be a dream about a nice family dinner at first, soon becomes a vomit-inducing scene where she's constantly stuffed with food, until she can literally not fit any more of it in her mouth.
With your mouth full, dear.
You are what you eat.
Can you imagine seeing this when you open your fridge? There is nothing much scarier than that. Number 3, Cockroach Transformation. From Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. I knew this one would be close to the top of the list due to how disgusting it is, especially if you don't like roaches, and it's also genius from a story point of view because it makes no sense. That in itself might not make any sense, but think about it. Many times our dreams really don't make sense at all. A lot of times it's just jumbled images where you find yourself waking up thinking, what the hell was that? Debbie finds herself working out, nothing unusual there, until her arms snap off and she begins transforming into a cockroach.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
What the hell was that? Debbie.
Number 2, Invisible Slasher. The original Nightmare on Elm Street was a slasher flick classic, giving Freddy his first chance to terrify audiences, and some of the imagery was really scary, showing audiences horrors that have never been seen on film before. One of the most original movies of the time, and Tina's death is one of the most shocking in the entire series, as she's being stalked and slashed by Freddy over and over again in her dreams, as her horrified boyfriend looks on helplessly, while her body climbs the ceiling and she's screaming in pain. It's one of the most cruel kills Freddy has performed, and perfectly demonstrates how the series really started out as genuinely scary before becoming more comedic and over the top. This was Nightmare on Elm Street at its best. Number 1, the Johnny Depp explosion. The top Freddy kill on this list is also from the original Nightmare on Elm Street, an undisputed masterpiece of a film. My favorite Freddy kill of all time is what poor Johnny Depp suffers, a spectacle unlike anything that had ever been seen in a movie before this. And when I was a kid, this was the specific moment the movie messed me up. Innocent, youthful Johnny Depp is relaxing on his bed watching TV, with his headphones on, and makes the mistake of falling asleep. I would go to sleep at night scared shitless that Freddy was going to pull me into my bed. This is one of the most talked about scenes in the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, even making it as a fatality in Mortal Kombat.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
And that was my top 10 Freddy Krueger kills. Make sure you leave me a comment down below with some of your favorites that didn't make the list.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button with all of your strength. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on social media or go into my community tab for updates. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.